Welcome to our countdown of the world's most disgusting foods. Get ready to be shocked and maybe a little grossed out. You call yourselves foodies? You think you've seen it all? Well, think again. We're about to take you on a wild ride around the globe to uncover some of the most bizarre, revolting, and downright vomit-inducing dishes ever conceived. From rotten fish that could knock you unconscious to cheese crawling with maggots, we're diving headfirst into the world's most atrocious delicacies. So buckle up, you brave souls, and get ready for a culinary roller coaster ride that will leave you speechless and maybe a little bit green around the gills. You've been warned. First up, we're heading to Sweden, home of flat-pack furniture and fermented herring. You heard that right, folks. It's called Cstroming, and it's basically a herring that's been left to ferment in its own juices for months. The result? A pungent, putrid stench that has been compared to everything from rotten eggs to a sewage plant on a hot day. This stuff is so potent it can clear a room faster than a fire alarm. But the real kicker is that the Swedes actually eat this stuff. They crack open the cans, usually outdoors and far away from any innocent bystanders, and gobble down the fermented fish with gusto. I've smelled a lot of things in my kitchens, but nothing, and I mean nothing, comes close to the gut-wrenching aroma of Cstroming. It's like someone took a dead fish, marinated it in a dumpster, and then left it out in the sun to fester. You'd think the taste would be even worse, but apparently, it's an acquired taste. Cstroming, you've been warned. Next up, we're traveling to the beautiful island of Sardinia, Italy, where they take their cheese very, very seriously. And by seriously, I mean they like it crawling with live maggots. Casu marzu, which literally translates to rotten cheese, is a traditional Sardinian delicacy that's intentionally infested with cheese flies. These little critters lay their eggs in the cheese, and their larvae burrow through it, breaking down the fats and giving it a soft, creamy texture. The maggots are still alive and wriggling when you eat it, and they can even jump up to 5 inches high. Some people say it's an acquired taste, but honestly, who in their right mind would want to acquire a taste for something that's basically a breeding ground for insects? Casu marzu, proof that some things are best left uneaten. Hold on to your stomachs, folks, because things are about to get really weird. We're heading over to the Philippines where they like their duck eggs fertilized. Balut is a popular street food in the Philippines, and it's basically a duck embryo that's been boiled alive and eaten in the shell. That's right, you're eating a partially formed duck fetus, complete with bones, feathers, and sometimes even a beak. It's like something out of a horror movie, watching people crack open these eggs and slurp down the contents. The taste is apparently savory and slightly gamey, but honestly I don't think I could even get past the visual of seeing a tiny duckling staring back at me from my plate. Balut, proof that one man's delicacy is another man's nightmare. Chapter 4. Hackl, the shark that could knock you out. Get ready to hold your breath, because we're about to dive into the world of fermented shark meat. It's called Hackl, and it's an Icelandic delicacy that's been described as having the aroma of 1,000 sweaty gym socks stuffed into a dumpster fire. The process of making Hackl involves burying a Greenland shark underground for several months to ferment and detoxify it. You see, Greenland sharks don't have kidneys, so they urinate through their skin. After a few months of this underground fermentation process, the shark is dug up, cut into strips, and hung to dry for several weeks. The result is a pungent, ammonia-rich meat that's definitely not for the faint of heart. It's like someone shoved a rotting fish up your nose and then punched you in the face with a bag of ammonia. Hackl, eat at your own risk and maybe wear a gas mask. Chapter 5. Century Egg. The egg that's older than your grandmother. Now let's talk about eggs. But not just any eggs, mind you. We're talking about eggs that have been preserved for weeks, months, or even years in a mixture of clay, ash, salt, quicklime, and rice hulls. I'm talking about century eggs, also known as 1,000-year-old eggs, a delicacy in many Asian countries. Don't worry, they're not actually a century old, but they sure look like they could be. The preservation process turns the egg white into a gelatinous amber-colored substance, while the yolk transforms into a dark green, creamy paste with a pungent aroma that's been compared to sulfur and ammonia. I've tried century eggs and I'll admit, the appearance alone is enough to put you off. The yolk looks like something you'd find growing in the back of your refrigerator, and the smell is something else entirely. But if you can get past the initial shock, the taste is actually quite interesting. Century eggs, an acquired taste, to say the least. Chapter 6. Durian, the smelliest fruit on earth. Hold on to your noses because we're about to enter the world of durian, the fruit that's been banned from hotels and public transportation across Southeast Asia. Durian is known for its incredibly strong odor, which has been compared to everything from rotten onions and gym socks to sewage and vomit. It's so potent that some people can't even stand to be in the same room as it. But despite its pungent aroma, durian is incredibly popular in Southeast Asia, where it's often referred to as the king of fruits. People either love it or hate it, and there's no in-between. It's like someone took all the worst smells in the world and concentrated them into one fruit. But if you can get past the smell, the taste is actually quite sweet and creamy, with a custardy texture. Durian, love it or hate it, you can't deny its unique and unforgettable aroma. Chapter 7. Stinky Tofu, don't let the smell fool you. Now we're heading to East Asia, where fermented tofu reigns supreme. But not just any fermented tofu, mind you. We're talking about stinky tofu, a dish that's as polarizing as it is pungent. As the name suggests, stinky tofu is known for its strong, distinctive odor, which has been compared to everything from garbage and sewage to blue cheese and rotten eggs. It's the kind of smell that can clear a room faster than a fire alarm. But don't let the smell fool you. Stinky tofu is a beloved street food in many East Asian countries, where it's often deep-fried and served with a variety of sauces and toppings. The tofu is crispy on the outside and soft and custardy on the inside, and the sauces and toppings add a burst of flavor. Stinky tofu, proof that sometimes the smelliest foods are the tastiest. Chapter 8. Escamoles, ant larvae, anyone. Get ready to be creeped out, because we're about to delve into the world of edible insects. Specifically, we're talking about escamoles, a Mexican delicacy that's often referred to as insect caviar. Escamoles are the edible larvae of ants that nest in the roots of agave plants, which are used to make tequila. They're harvested in the spring, and they're considered a delicacy in Mexico, where they've been consumed since the time of the Aztecs. Escamoles are often sautéed with butter, onions, and spices, and they're said to have a buttery, nutty flavor that's similar to pine nuts. They're often served in tacos, quesadillas, or simply on their own as a snack. Escamoles, not for the faint of heart, but definitely an adventure for the adventurous eater. Chapter 9. Sanakji, wrestling with live octopus. Hold on to your hats, because we're about to enter the world of Korean live octopus, also known as sanakji. This is not for the faint of heart, folks. Sanakji is a dish that consists of live baby octopus that are chopped up and served immediately, often while the tentacles are still wriggling. The octopus is typically seasoned with sesame oil and sesame seeds, and it's meant to be eaten while the tentacles are still squirming. The suction cups on the tentacles can actually stick to your mouth and throat, so you have to be careful when eating sanakji. Some people like to dip the tentacles in gochujang sauce for an extra kick. The tentacles stick to your mouth and throat, and you can actually feel them suctioning as you try to swallow. Sanakji, not for the squeamish, but definitely an unforgettable culinary adventure. Chapter 10. Tuna eyeballs staring back at you. And last but not least, we're finishing our culinary journey with a dish that's sure to make your stomach churn. Tuna eyeballs. In many parts of the world, tuna eyeballs are considered a delicacy, and they're often served boiled, steamed, or fried. They're said to have a fatty, gelatinous texture that's similar to squid or octopus. Tuna eyeballs are often seasoned with soy sauce, sake, and sugar, and they're sometimes served with a side of rice. They're said to be a good source of protein and omega-3 fatty acids. Tuna eyeballs, you'll either love them, or you'll be running for the hills. Would you try these disgusting foods? So there you have it, folks, 10 of the most disgusting foods from around the world. From fermented fish and maggot-infested cheese to live octopus and tuna eyeballs, we've covered it all. Thanks for watching. Which of these foods would you dare to try? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more amazing content. I'm off to go scrub my tongue with bleach. Stay tuned for more.